Inspiration. That divine force which enables us to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary.
It's the aha moment, when the floodgates burst open and ideas flow effortlessly.
There's nothing like that euphoric rush of inspiration. You feel on top of the world.
But what if you're just not feeling it, and everything seems drab, and the music stops?
You can start to feel desolate, like an artist without a muse.
On this episode, we dive into the ecstasy of feeling inspired.
And discover how to cultivate a lifelong relationship with inspiration.
For me, when I'm inspired, it comes in a flash, and it's quick, and I gotta catch it.
When I'm inspired, it's like I'm being electrocuted by lightning. Like I've literally been hit by lightning, and I need to right out the door.
Bolt.
But where does this mystical energy come from?
We turn to some creatives who inspire us to see what they had to say.
My name is Alicia Wise Hernandez. I do poetry, and I teach it.
My name is Michelito Orquiola. I'm a muralist visual artist here in Los Angeles.
My name's Jana Romer, and I've for a really long time been a yoga teacher, a meditation and yoga nidra guide. I'm a midwife of awakening.
When I'm inspired, it's like I'm feeling all this fire in me, but I've learned how to contain the fire. It feels like it needs to be done. One of the things I had to tell myself is don't rush it though, because I'm so excited and I want to create, I want to let it out.
My creativity comes in the most awkward and inconvenient times. Like making dinner, all of a sudden I'm like, I have to do this. So it comes as excitement. My nervous system gets activated and it's like a biochemical experience.
When it comes to inspiration, it's really difficult to set it in one place.
The question of where did inspiration come from has been asked for ages, and I believe that it comes from within.
I do about 160 pieces a year. So the inspiration comes from many different places. But when I'm done with a piece, you're getting a piece of my soul. You're getting a piece of my spirit. It's blood, sweat, tears, and spit on that canvas.
I think it's really cool that if you break down the word inspiration, you get in spirit.
You're a genius, yeah.
We are spirits having this human experience, and the more we welcome the bigger part of ourselves into this human experience, the more inspired we become.
I believe that the spiritual aspect in my work, it's not based on any type of religion. It's more channeling my spirit. And normally you can see that when I light paint, because I have to be in tune with my musicians. That's basically channeling things from the inside. So when I'm painting, especially when I'm performing, there's no thought. I'm one with the brush.
All the conversation of get out of your head, by getting the heart to communicate with the head through getting into your body, getting the nervous system to listen, then everything flows much more easily.
Most of my work, I feel like, is spirit work. It comes from a place of purpose, and it's an energy behind it. So I can read all day. I love having a book and reading new poems. I could just read something, but a lot of times I do feel like naturally my spirit takes over and it becomes like a deliverance. I reserve this name for the one I wish to find when the lights go dim. If I call you sis, I too have been the only of us in a crowded room. I too have learned we are the reason the room is full, that there are vultures feeding off our bodies here, and everyone sees our wide, wailing mouths, but nobody hears our screams. I see you, sis, your smile a practice. I know what becomes of us chewed up when we cover up the decay in keep going. I offer you these words, this oil, this calming for your body. It is a prayer that saved me from a bathtub. I escaped on a faint amen.
I had a real epiphany when I realized, oh wow, inspiration actually comes from within, but also when you're active and connecting with others, it comes from the community that you surround yourself with. You can't just sit in your room and feel an inspired existence.
Ooh. When you see 3 or 4 artists going off at the same time on one piece, they show me where I can take my art. Because I would never have expected, oh my God, those 2 colors really do go together. And I would never learn that if I stuck just to myself.
I used to be very solo. I used to be all about just like staying in my bubble, like I can inspire myself. And I didn't really have a community that pushed my pen. I kind of stopped writing for a while. And I've been pushing myself to collaborate with people who see a light in something that is helping this world grow. Constantly surrounding myself by those who inspire me.
Look not of other art, look of how other artists lived their lives.
Take Leonardo da Vinci, for example, one of the most inspired creatives to ever live. He had the most epic love affair with inspiration.
Yeah, art historians have discovered that he was incredibly curious, open, observant, he was a team player, and he never stopped learning.
As a teacher, for me, the most important thing is that I am perpetually a student.
To have a long career, you have to be very open rather than be closed off, because this is how I do it. I think collaborating and working with others, the only reason that works is when you remove your ego. Normally I start off with putting my hand on my musician's heart. And we won't start until we're in the same rhythm.
Yours is beating pretty fast.
Breathing, a sense of meditation, losing your ego. And then once we're there, then it's time to go.
Yeah, 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 yeah. High shine on me. Salty breeze on, salty drops fall down my cheek. Oh, there he goes, my baby. Off to sea. Made for children under
Another amazing resource for inspiration is our emotional experience. If we look at the human condition, one of the greatest driving forces of everything that we do is based in our emotional embodiment.
Inspiration doesn't always come in a pretty package. You know, you meet yourself where you are and you might not be in the best place.
Being uninspired as well invokes a certain emotion. So I use that anger, that feeling that I may be lost. I let my emotions guide where that paintbrush goes.
The poet wrote on Twitter years ago, they said, whatever's stopping you from writing the poem, that is the poem, right? And it makes me think of life too. Whatever's stopping you from living, that is the living.
We oftentimes have so many voices going on in our head. We hear so much from the external world. You forget who you actually really are. And when you can meet your true self, then you're able to really act upon your inspiration, because the divine self is the inspired self.
So when I look back into the very beginnings of my journey, I mimicked other art. And that was because I didn't have the confidence to step out of that realm. I never went to art school, so I had to teach myself how to paint. And I did that by turning off the lights. I painted in the dark.
When we let the external world go away and we turn on in the internal world, we meet our divine self, that capital S self inside. And that is really the voice within that is all of the inspiration you ever needed.
I've always believed in myself, even when I wasn't creating a lot of poems or writing. But I remember those days where I felt so empty. I just felt like I need to be doing more. I'm better than this. So I needed time off. And that reminded me that sometimes we need to take a step back and give ourselves time just to be.
We are constantly flooded with the messages of grind it out, push through, I'll sleep when I'm dead. But that is actually the worst thing you can do if you're trying to meet inspiration halfway. Did you know that research in brain imaging shows that relaxation and sleep are linked to having epiphanies?
Basically, what you're saying is we should take more naps.
Yeah, that's correct.
Can we go take a nap now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
To open up the doorway of inspiration when you're feeling uninspired, actually stop. Just stop and find yourself. Locate yourself in space, locate yourself in time, get acquainted with the room that you're in, close your eyes and watch your breath. And let your breath show you what wants to come out.
Alicia, Michelito, and Jana showed us that with the right mindset and practice, it is possible to meet inspiration again and again in life.
I have a poem about where I'm from and how much that has been a blessing. And I feel like that's the closest to when it comes to my creativity process. Can I share? Okay, all right. I may not know it by heart. I've never done it off the top of my head. Bear with me. Let's see what happens. Blessings I have attained from my hood. An enormous heart, being punched in my left eye, an eye barely bruised as much as my feelings, the feeling of get stronger. A New Jersey fire, my mouth a flame folded into a fist, my fist forgiveness molded into a prayer. A Baptist church, baptism at the age of 11, permission to join your junior choir, the teen choir, the adult choir, the usher board. I couldn't sing, but I could strut. Permission to praise God inside the house of God, to realizing God is wherever I call home.
This is the Grandview Fine Arts Studios. I am studio number 12, and this is my studio right here. This wall represents all the influences that I've had to get me to where I am in my journey. I have a picture of my daughter, pictures of the prototype muses that I've had that I've worked with over 20 plus years ago. I love to paint and get behind the eyes of a lot of the subject matter or the models that I end up using. This is where everything happens. This is where the magic happens.
When we do the practice of Yoga Nidra, you actually unplug yourself from the external world. You turn on your internal world. You connect with your internal world, and you feel that intimate feeling inside that's only yours. We now begin the practice of Yoga Nidra. One of the first things you do in the practice is close your eyes, because with the absence of light, you signal the pineal gland to start producing melatonin. And when that happens, there's a new sequence of chemicals that then gets released. Let this bring your focus or bring your awareness into this internal space. There's a point in the practice where the heart-brain coherence is online. You're fully present in the body, and then there's no stress hormones being released. And I'll ask you to feel pairs of emotions along a polarity. And as we become more aware of our emotions, all different emotions, then the creative inspiration comes from the struggle and our journey out of the struggle.
My childhood witchcraft. My blinds always closed, my clothes always black, my lips always whoopee, my hood always unsure about where I was from. The embrace when they got sure. My brother Brace and my grandfather's shotgun protection, being alone near a dark alley surrounded by boys, no protection. The lessons beneath the trauma, always sharp eye, always eyes down a block, watch who's coming. An enormous heart and a pocket full of knives. Memories of that first kiss when a knife went missing, telling death, I am here. I know what it means to keep my hand away from the stove. I know what it means to not be afraid of the fire. My adult witchcraft, my blinds always open, my life lit, my lips pressed against my cheek like who want what? This kinship to the sky, this devotion to the dirt that raised me. Wow, I know it by heart. I didn't think I was gonna get through it. Thanks so much.
One of the best ways to live an inspired life is to set aside your ego and let humility fill its shoes.
The fastest way to do that? Write a gratitude list. Today, just write 10 things you're grateful for. Carly, what you grateful for?
I am grateful for you. Number one.
Okay, I'm also very grateful for you.